Օրինակի համար թող գնան հրապարակեն
For instance, let them go and disclose the archives of Moser, who was a resident of the U.S. Army Intelligence Center of Excellence with a seat in Tbilisi, and let them read about the assistance that the Bolsheviks provided to the Turks.
Կատարած օգնության մասին։ Մենք ունենք
Armenia has a tremendous amount of Soviet sources. For instance, even though there have always been talks about 200 kilograms of gold, after a recent disclosure of documents, which I have at my disposal, it became clear that the Bolsheviks had transferred 8 tons of gold to the Turks. What 200 kilograms? The Bolsheviks gave 8 tons of gold to the Turks. Do you understand? Basically, you give the enemy that many weapons in such amounts and then you say that the Armenians should have shown resistance. How could they show resistance? It's the same story. The Russians sold $5 billion in weapons to Azerbaijan and then they said the Armenians were not able to defend themselves and the West did not defend them. Well, you sold so many weapons that we Armenians were not able to defend ourselves. What did you expect? In addition, they are the strategic ally of Armenia. Yes, they want to commit a crime, and it is a crime because they are violating their commitments, and then the unfriendly countries of the West should come and help Armenia to fight against that crime? That's not the way it goes, especially since Armenia is an ally of Russia, and the West is an enemy of Russia. And it turns out that Armenia is a friend of the enemy of the West. The same thing happened in that period. The amount of weapons that were provided, the amount of assistance that was provided. In other words, Armenia was weakened and the Kemalists were strengthened. Armenia simply couldn't have shown resistance. If it did, it would have been a miracle. The fact that Zangezur remained Armenian land is a miracle. And today, they want to destroy that miracle because it is standing in the way of the policy of brotherhood that Russia and Turkey have been leading for a century and that is targeted against the West. It is necessary to understand that the West is the number one enemy of Russia, as it was a century ago. Back then, Great Britain was the number one enemy, but now it is the United States of America.
Բրիտանիան էր հիմնականում արևմուտքի այսպես ասած առաջնորդ երկիրը, հիմա Ամերիկան է։ Եվ
In order to have certain forces against the United States, the Russians are ready to even establish friendly ties with the devil, and obviously with the Turks. This is what it's all about. So long as there is an illogical and irrational approach and hatred toward the West, Russia will always be pro-Turkish, and the unity is based on this. No matter what Armenia does for the Russians, and Armenia has done a lot, it will never be appreciated because it is clear that the empowerment of Armenia, much less expansion, is not in their interests. The survival of Armenia is necessary for the Russians, and I would like to emphasize this. Survival. But the boundaries and population are issues that don't really matter to them. They don't want Armenia to be a big and strong country. To a great extent, it doesn't really matter to the Russians whether Armenia has a population of 500,000 and is sized 10,000 square kilometers, or whether Armenia is sized 50,000 square kilometers and has a population of 5 million. What's more, I would say the Russians would prefer to see a small and weak Armenia because a big and strong Armenia would be independent. And an independent Armenia would be hard to govern.
Բաժանորդագրվեք ազգային ժողովրդավարական բևեռի YouTube-յան ալիքին։